Welcome to the Equipped Agronomy Podcast, where we bridge the gap between seeding equipment and agronomy. This is presented to you by Bourgault Industries. And I should say, actually, welcome back. Season 3. My name's Curtis DeGoyer. I work as agronomy manager here. I have across the table from me Mr. Jeff Strukoff.
How you doing, Curtis?
I'm good.
Always,
How are you doing?
Always a pleasure, Curtis.
Always a pleasure. It really is. It really is. Well, there's been a couple things that have changed. We better get into that.
Yeah, there's been a few, actually.
There's been a few.
More for me than you, but...
Hey, man. Changes for me, too.
Yeah.
So Jeff did decide to pursue other interests. Went down the road. Literally down the road into a retail position.
I don't know. We're trying to figure that out.
You're trying to figure that out, but
yeah, spiritual counselor. So
wasn't with us all this growing season, but again, just down the road. So there was conversations back and forth, and so Jeff has been doing that. We had another guy help out on the farm this summer I won't say fill your shoes. Those are big shoes to fill, but
no, he
definitely there to take on some of the responsibilities. So that's been good too. But for the podcast, we thought, you know what, we gotta have Jeff back. We've got some things to follow up on, discuss.
You know, we started a few things last year, and it's not like I left the area.
No,
and I follow what goes on here quite closely because, of course, everything that we do is almost literally beside my house, so I can walk my dog or go for a quad ride and check out exactly what's going on. So it's been it's been interesting. So that's, and I think maybe as well you can bring another perspective to this too on the retail side of stuff. Yeah, where, you know what, it'd be great to get some of your other observations if you're willing to share on that on different things. Absolutely. It was interesting because it's not like I left on bad terms. Obviously, I'm sitting here across from you. We still talk to each other. I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but we do talk to each other quite often. Yeah. We're both part of the community, and it just got to the point in my life where I don't know if it was a midlife crisis or whatever else, but I just decided that, you know what, I'd like to try. I wouldn't say something new. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So I had a friend actually start independent retail in town. Of course, I'd done that for 18 years previous to me working at Bourgault, and there was an opportunity for me to help him out. It's not an easy thing to start an independent business in this day and age, and I felt that I could maybe contribute to their effort a little bit and, you know, build some connections in the community. And, you know, as you get older, certain things are a little bit more important to you, and having community and connections within the community kind of make a little bit of a difference for a guy. So I thought I'd take a stab at maybe doing something a little bit new, and wouldn't say it's been easy, but it's definitely been good. So
you said it was almost like a breakup.
No, it was, but it's not. It's really not.
Are we still friends? We're still friends.
Okay. We're still friends, yeah.
That's good.
That's
good. All right. Well, not to keep dragging that out, but there was some things that, you're right. We did have some stuff on the go. Yeah. And I thought that'd be really good to touch on. And there has been some questions over the summer about our winter canola.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes.
You know, this is so typical of you, because we actually sit down with no plan whatsoever. And it's just a mystery right up until you bring up the first topic. Oh, so that's what we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to talk about. Winter canola. Yeah. And I know you had a bet on the go with a guy to see if it'd survive last winter. So for those who are tuning in or didn't know, we did plant some winter canola in the fall of 2024 in St. Bruce, Saskatchewan. Not a typical winter canola place. In fact, no winter canola, basically in Western Canada, almost. As I found out, there are some trying, and other guys are trying it. But anyway, we put it in with different fertility packages. We had different varieties. We had different seeding rates. And we just wanted to see if anything would catch. So we did it, replicated 3 times. We went all in. It was like 25 acres of trials.
I thought the most interesting thing that we did was we actually worked a portion of the field.
Yes.
Where there was worked and then there was stubble, just to see if there was a difference.
Yes.
And you had actually gone down to the States and attended a meeting where they kind of went into a lot of that stuff in depth, and surprise to me, they basically said that they did not want stubble cover at all. Not like winter wheat or fall rye.
No. So. We can dive back, but we better not dive back into all the details. If you want to listen to our winter canola podcast, we had it there last season. So, but at the end of the day, just no residue. They don't want residue as much as winter canola. So we tried. That's what we tried. So what happened? Okay, so we got it in. We got it up to 5 leaf is what was recommended in the fall. Went into, and this may be important, fall rye stubble. Mm-hmm. Okay, so went in great. Comes out in the spring and looks okay. Okay, there was definitely some winter kill out there. I think maybe one of the, I would say, biggest problems now looking back is it was fall rye, and the fall rye volunteers kind of got out there, and
it's not like they weren't taking care of the fall before, because there was quite a bit of growth. Mm-hmm. But it was relentless.
They came back in full force, and fall rye does have allelopathy, right? Like there is some where it's not as good for canola, right? And I was just talking about it with another fellow about seeding canola into fall rye that's got a wicked volunteer problem for next spring. You can see it coming. And the recommendation is to basically spray, but you got to wait for it to break down a little bit. And so growing canola in fall rye. Okay, that was a lesson maybe learned. Okay, mm-hmm. Well, let's chalk it up for that. Okay, well, whatever. The decision was made to say, okay, we're going to keep this. There's some strips out there like, okay, there's some that weren't as good, and we'll touch on which ones I thought were better.
Just to be clear, or if we just back up, I did have a bet with a fellow engineer.
Yeah.
I bet on the side that it was not going to make it.
Yeah.
My wife had a little bit of a previous experience with winter canola, and in 3 years, they never had it actually grow. So I was fairly confident. Mm-hmm. Of course, my engineering friend, he bet that it was going to be fine. Mm-hmm. And when the snow left, you couldn't definitively say it died, and you couldn't definitively say that it was good too.
Exactly.
There was canola there. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't say it was fantastic. But
we went out kind of, I think it was about third week in May, and I was like, you know what? We took it this far. We're going to leave it. We're going to see what happens. A week later, come back. So I'd gotten rid of all the volunteer rye. I'd sprayed it with a herbicide to get rid of that. And okay, so it was clean. It was coming up. All right, there's some plants there. Come back a week later, starting to have some flowering canola, because that's what winter canola does. It starts to flower into June. And decimated by flea beetles, like full-grown canola just taken down.
Black.
It was in the middle of a field. But I mean, if you look at volunteer canola in the spring, right? You can see it get chewed. And this year it was no different. It was getting destroyed. Well, this is basically volunteer canola because all the seed treatment had all worn off.
It's kind of a note to self. If you're the first seeded canola field in the country to come out of the ground, you are the lure crop for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Everything migrated there.
So as far as this bet goes, it's a tough one. Did it survive? Kinda. Did it die? Well, at the end of the day, we didn't have the terms of the bet specified enough, I guess, right? But at the end of the day, we didn't get any winter canola results.
So we split the bottle. Is basically what we did.
Yeah. That's a good way to go about it. Yeah. What did we learn though? Okay, so fall rye, don't go into fall rye. Well, or control your volunteers or be aware of that. Flea beetles, you better have a sprayer on the side of the field ready to go if it's a bad flea beetle spring.
More than once.
Yep. I think that, and I had you talked about me going down to the States. I had talked to another fellow again this spring, and they were having issues. They were spraying their stuff in Kentucky 3 times for flea beetles. Oh. So this was actually a big problem across the board, it seemed, in certain areas. So that's another thing learned. Okay, what about the treatments? Fertilizer-wise, we applied all of our nitrogen in the mid-row in some of those trials. Some we top-dressed, and in some we put phos into the seed row, and some we put it out into the mid-row. Mm-hmm. I would say the best, and moving forward, what we found would be the best, I think, is you do need some phos in the seed row. It does have a pop-up effect in the fall, and in areas where we have a shorter growing season in the fall, we need it to get up and going.
Yeah.
So phos in the seed row, I think, was a must, or close, earlier access. Nitrogen, just like we saw in fall rye, in some trials we'd done before, putting all your nitrogen in the mid-row at the time of planting, that seemed to work the best in this winter canola as well.
Get her done.
It was it starting to tap into it a little bit in the fall? Maybe not. Although it did look that stuff looked okay. So I still, there was enough evidence showing that there's a benefit to do that. And that's what I would recommend or suggest that we do moving forward. As far as the till, no till, not a big difference there, actually. The one thing I guess learned there too is if we're going to till, I guess to do more of a stark difference where, like you almost make it like a garden, hit it a bunch of times, blacken it. We hit it once with a disc. It blackened it a little bit, knocked down some stubble.
There was no standing stubble, really.
No, but there was.
I think it was a fair comparison because there was stubble standing and then it was flattened right over and slightly incorporated. So yeah. Okay. I would probably try it if I were ever to do that again. Almost make it like a garden versus no till, but just does get that stark difference. So not a big difference there. Those were the big things. The varieties didn't have any effect. Didn't seem like one variety was better than the other. Seeding rates, honestly, the higher seeding rate was maybe a little bit better before it was all eaten up by flea beetles. But higher seeding rate, try that out. Fertilizer all down. That's what we're going to try. So did we try it again, though? So this fall. So now we're talking in the fall of 2025. In St. Bruce, Saskatchewan, we did not proceed with winter canola. But we have a friend.
However, and this is maybe another change I thought I'd bring up as far as the agronomy program in general. We have a satellite area or farm, I guess call it, activated down by Odessa, Saskatchewan.
That's a good word. Activate.
Yes, we've brought him up. Perry's down there, and he's had a farm there for a while. He's been renting it out, but now he's gone back. He's a Bourgault employee for I don't know how many years, and he's going to do some trials. He's always been part of the agronomy program, but now we're going to do some official trials down there. So this spring, we actually played around with some lentils. So some lentils down there this spring to kind of dip our toe into it. In general, on the farm, what we sent for equipment is a 40-foot FMS, so a 9120?
9120 frame-mounted seeder.
Yeah, frame-mounted seeder, 40 feet, disc drill. So it's got the 38 or PLR, the Paralink row on there with mid-row banders. So we've got the ability to play around with that. So I guess just to finalize on the winter canola. So we did lentils this spring, but just to finish off the winter canola subject, we did put in winter canola down there on lentil stubble and on wheat stubble. So we've got two different stubbles there. So not worked versus worked or non-worked. It's kind of less stubble versus more stubble. And then we did do the phos either in the seed row or not. So winter canola trials are in. They're not as big as they were up here. They're only they're pretty small down there. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's really good that it's a good thing that we actually added this satellite location, because there's lots of times where we get questioned on some of our results where it's like, oh, that worked there, but what about over here?
Yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden we do in a couple different geographies, and we do have some third-party people doing some things for us too in Western Saskatchewan. So I think this additional site actually will be really good in the future. I
would love for there to be more places, but the way that we have the trials set up we were also testing the equipment, right?
Yeah.
And how soil flows, and we want to use that equipment. It's just a little bit tougher to get it into the smaller plots. We like the larger scale stuff, and then of course that comes with its own challenges.
Yeah.
In any case, Odessa, lentil production is a lot more common down there than up here in St. Brew area.
We do have a few lentils.
We do have some lentils, there's no doubt.
And they have done quite well for the last couple of years.
Don't tell anybody, I'm sure they're
No, I know.
That. Anyway,
well, if the lentil guys would have let us just stick to the canola and they left the canola alone, maybe we wouldn't have to dabble in lentils.
I'll let you bring that up with your with your crew. We'll seed it all. We'll seed it all to anywhere. Yeah. But so lentils down in Odessa. So what were some of the things that we wanted to look at? And some of the questions that have come up to me in the past, right? Again, fertilizer placement. Not nitrogen, but phosphorus.
Yeah.
Phosphorus placement. And I had a couple ideas. We had played with some pulses up here with peas and fabas and soybean at one point.
Yeah.
I had never personally played with lentils. Where does the phosphorus go? Right? So typically all down the seed row.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lentils do have a bit of a concern with
seed place, toxicity with any fertilizer for that matter.
Yeah.
Is an issue.
On the actual seeding and seedling. Or
is there interference with nodulation? I don't know.
That's another question I always, man, it seems like with peas, this kind of stepping out a bit, but it seems like when you put phos in with the seed, with the inoculant, you almost don't get as good as nodulation on the seed, right? And it's a living thing, right? The inoculant, it's a living thing. And if you're putting phosphorus that's got some salt, it's got some toxicity there, like maybe it kills some. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't prove that out at this point. But anyway, the thought was on the lentils, you take that away so you can put down more phosphorus, right? How do we get more as well? Because, it could be a benefit to that. So we had the control, we had seed place phos, and then we had mid-row phos. We put all the phosphorus out into the mid-row. We had a split of that. And then we did a high rate of phosphorus out in the mid-row just to see if more phos was more better.
More better.
And what did we find? Well, I guess first and foremost, no statistical difference out there. We did run it three strips with this, replicated. No statistical difference. I would say, though, and observations from the field, having phos in the seed row did provide a jump.
It gave you a slight advantage.
So both when we put some in alone in the seed row or when we split it.
Mm-hmm.
And technically the highest results came from seed place P on here, right? So was there something to that this year? Yeah, that's what we found.
It's an observation and it's been made. So
we're gonna continue on with this for next year, and we're gonna continue to look into lentil production and fertilizer. A couple other things we did try there down in Odessa with lentils was seeding rate trials. We love our seeding rate trials. I think there's so much we can do with a crop. Actually changing the seed rate, or just having that benchmark of what happens if you have different plant stands in different climates, right? And different years, and how does the plant stand of that crop affect yield or
plant structure or whatever.
Whichever, right? Like, so if it comes back to if you're going to hurt the plant or plant stands with lots of fertilizer, well, is it actually hurting the crop or is it just changing the plant stand in it? And is that causing the result? So anyway, we have them in there, 16 seeds a square foot, 24 seeds and 32. It's because there was some research showing higher
seed rates produce better.
Potentially better.
Potentially.
Again, no statistical difference here. It would actually show a pattern. The higher seeding rate had lower yield. So the lowest seeding rate had the higher yield.
I wonder if it'd be similar to canola, though. Because we've had years where the lowest seeding rate is the highest yield, but then we've also had some wet years where canola actually yielded more with the higher seeding rate. So
I don't know if
lentils are the same.
Yeah, branch out quite as much as that.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of talk about wind and disease and stuff. So all this was always sprayed. All the trials got sprayed, but something else we're just kind of watching.
Yeah. So anyway, in the conclusion, it was concluded that the lower seeding rate slightly did better, is what you're saying?
Again, no stat difference there, but yeah, that's the trend. As we went higher, the trend for yield went down.
Interesting.
Yeah. So take that with a grain of salt, and we'll kind of keep looking at that into the future. The third thing, and this one gets asked quite a bit, fan speeds, different fan speeds. If you start ripping those lentils through and it's breaking apart and they're having issues, like how badly is it affecting the crop, right? And there's definitely guys that are like, wow, geez, like look at this, right? And you can see seed coat, and won't say that there isn't cracking.
Yeah.
And the other guy's like, oh, well, it just seems to go in the ground and grow. Like, well, let's actually take a test and And there's some things we can improve on the test, but recommended fan speed, and then we went high fan speed. So it was like 4,000 RPM, and I think we cranked it up to like 5,500 or 6,000 or something. Like we tried to just really crank it right up.
Yeah.
And then the other question in there is if you have phosphorus or fertilizer in with it or not, kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So recommended fan speed versus high fan speed. Again, no stat difference. The high fan speed was showing a higher yield.
That's interesting.
I don't know. And then you add phosphorus into that. So only like 40 pounds. It was 20 pounds of actual. You add that into the seed row with the high fan speed.
With the high fan speed, yeah.
And yield just kind of kept bumping up a little bit. So there's lots of variability shown by the stats here. So, I mean, man, there was a 3 bushel difference between the recommended fan speed up to the high fan speed with seed row fertilizer. But lots of variability out there. So no statistical
there's lots of different interactions that you could actually end up with. Like FOS, like for the recommended fan speed and the high fan speed, there was no FOS in the seed row, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. So then when you put the seed row FOS in with the high fan speed, you probably ended up with a FOS response of
probably as we shown by those other trials there, right? Yeah. It was just more the fact of, is it going to, everyone thinks it's just like smashing around in there and stuff, but
I think the interesting thing with our whole agronomy program is the fact that these are done over several years. Mm-hmm. So as your sample set increases, you can have a little bit more confidence in the numbers. But, this is the first year that we've been doing this. It'll be interesting to see what the trends are going forward.
Yeah. And we got another thing too, we weren't able to get the plant stand counts this year. And we also, on the fan speed one, we want to get collection of the actual physical seed as it runs through on these different things. So anyway, there's some things to improve, but we got it up and going. We're going to continue on with some of the trials down there, lentils and winter canola being 2 of them.
Yep. Things are progressing.
Things are progressing, man.
Yeah.
So just like that, I think we're going to end it there.
Well, what a fantastic chat, Curtis. It's so good to see you again.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, just down the road, stop by. I know we're going to go for Chinese after, so well, here in town for the buffet.
Looking forward to it.
That'll be a nice little touch again. So anyway, with that, I want to thank you very much for tuning in back to our first episode back in season 3, and we'll catch you again.
Thanks for having me, Curtis. I look forward to talking to you again.